Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. Okay, first off, if you want to know all the full specs, I would encourage you to go to my video titled HP 14-QD 2030 CA Laptop First Look. Okay, anyways, but I will go over a little bit of extra for you in this one, just a little bit. So we do have, of course, Wi-Fi 6 AX201. We've got 128 megabytes of dedicated video, but 4 gigs of shared video through the system RAM. Does have 8 gigs of RAM, 3200 megahertz, 256 gig NVMe M.2 SSD drive, which both are upgradable, by the way. Fingerprint ID, 720p webcam, 1920 by 1080p is the native resolution at 60 hertz. Do yourself a favor, where they have the magnification, they recommend 150%. Take it to 100%, because 150 makes the pictures so big that you can't even edit your own videos on YouTube with it without going, where'd my button go? Take it to 100%, you'll be perfectly fine at that point. So anyways, so yeah, rest of the stuff, just go to my other video, okay? I want to keep this video short. Now, the laptop currently sells for $600 at HP. It's a great deal at $600. They normally sell it for $759. Canada Computer sells it for $750. What this thing sells for in the US, I have no clue. Just go out and buy it if this thing is going to be suitable for you. With having a quad-core processor at 2 gigahertz and 8 threads, this thing is pretty flippin' fast. I'm very impressed how responsive this computer is. I had one that I won from MDG that looks identical, other than it had the black top instead of silver. This one, it's black bezel, silver top. And the other one was only like 1.1 gigahertz. It was slow, man. It was like, I can't live with this anymore. I upgraded the RAM. I put an M.2 drive in there in place of the standard SSD slow type drive. And it's like, oh my gosh, I still can't really do much on this thing. So anyways, I wanted a laptop just for on the lazy boy. I do have a gamer laptop that's PC. I could do all the same stuff on it, but I burn my legs off. That thing gets friggin' roasty, man. And not to mention the battery life sucks unplugged, because it's such a high performance laptop that even when it does go to low power, which it automatically does, even performance mode, it just goes like on battery power. It's a PC, it's not a Mac, okay? The M1s and M2s, they don't lose any friggin' performance, battery or plugged in. But PCs definitely do take a massive hit. This thing actually is pretty good either way, which impresses me in comparison to my monster. But I don't need something to play games on. But I have tested gaming just because someone's going to friggin' ask me. So I've got Far Cry on here. It's the original Far Cry. 17-year-old game, was AAA back in the day. It's probably more like single or double A these days. But I love the Far Cry series of games, and I have almost all of them on PlayStation, and I've got a few of them on my gamer system other than Far Cry 1, and I really love them actually more on the computer than I do on a PlayStation, just because I'm a keyboard and mouse, person. I can play so well with keyboard and mouse. But when you initially install Far Cry on this thing, it auto-detects. It says the computer spec is very high, which, whatever, but it puts everything in low, which actually doesn't look half bad, mind you, okay? But I switched it to high, and this is it on high graphics. It'll give you a rough idea, but the graphics are quite excellent on high. I'm like, wow, even for just everything being on high only, this thing's good. Absolutely no lagging or farting on the game.
You see something?
So anyway, that's Far Cry. Nice graphics though. Birds are flying in the air. They're fun. You can shoot the birds out of the air, by the way. The fish are in the water. Everything is just like really nice. And the only way to get the water any nicer would be to put it on ultra. But you can also change the graphics to very high, like the top level. Only thing is when it resets itself, it's going to be like forever, it seems, before the game will even fire back up, because it's recalibrating everything, right? And it's got to tell the computer, hey sucker, I need more video RAM, so give me that too. Because it's a flex-based thing with the video RAM, because you only got the 128 megabytes that are dedicated and the 4 gigs shared. So it only steals more system RAM as it needs to, which is kind of nice, you know, so it does leave an allowance there. But I think on the top level graphics, that's where we're going to start to see some farting and lagging going on. So I never did let it complete its cycle to fire, but I figure, you know what, on high graphics only, that is sick. That is a great picture. And the screen itself on this thing is amazing. Quality of picture, text, clarity is really amazing for a laptop of this caliber. And I'm like a little stoked here. I think their price probably is a little expensive, but you know, you got to consider it is a 2 gigahertz quad core that also turbo maxes at 3.7 gigahertz, and you can upgrade the RAM in this. You can upgrade the NVMe drive to something bigger and faster if you want to. Now, it's not really going to help you playing AAA titles of today's stuff, because that just isn't going to happen. But there are a lot of games of even today's games you can play on this thing. Some will play extraordinarily well. Others probably not so great. You'll find out as you go along if you choose to play games on this thing. But at least we know it can do Far Cry. It's going to do a lot of others too, which is very encouraging, because it's kind of like, well, this is a cheap way to play games without getting too serious. Because I paid like over $2,000 for my gamer laptop, and that's just the base price. I've also put in a bigger drive in it. So now I have 2 NVMe drives. I have the stock 500 plus a 1 terabyte that screams out pretty good. I doubled my RAM from 16 to 32 gigs. You know, I mean, I've got money tied up in it, but it's a gaming laptop, you know, and I don't have any issues playing even today's AAA games on it. But with this, of course, this was bought just for sitting on the lazy boy, you know, checking emails, answering your guys' comments, maybe looking at the odd video, that sort of thing. Maybe I want to change the thumbnail on a video because maybe the video is lacking in views because of a sucky thumbnail. I might change that. I can do that with this, and it does it exceptionally well. The Wi-Fi 6 AX201 card in here is friggin' nuts with our internet connection. This morning when I fired it up, I was pulling like 233 down and about 16 up. And I'm like, that's pretty good for Wi-Fi. You know, like, that's really impressive. I like that. Now, we get much faster speeds than that. I've pulled like almost 400 off on a download, and, you know, 16 to 25 to 30 upload on my Mac on the Ethernet connection. But still, I mean, for Wi-Fi, and even in this machine, that's actually doing really well. And every time you run a test, of course, your ping and your jitter changes. So, you know, those tests are always going to be, you know, plus or minus, you know, whatever, right? Now, someone's going to also ask about video editing. Now, here's the thing. Windows 11 does come with a video editor, so they say, but it's really not, because they still make you download something called chip something or other. I'll get it up here on the screen for you. But I remember in Windows 10 they had a video editor that was actually already there, right? And the first Windows 11 reiteration was there too. This one on 22H2 gives you this, and it says you got to get a thing called Chip Champ to do your video editing. And it's like, or get Photos Legacy. So it's kind of like, what? I can't even do anything in here? Like, seriously. Apple gives you iMovie, which is like more powerful too. And I'm running iMovie and Final Cut now, and I'm trying to decide which one I like better. So anyways, I have one of the last installers that were able to be gotten off the internet before no more, of Windows Essentials, which comes with Movie Maker, as well as Messenger, a few other programs, and Photos. And it's like, great. So I installed only the Photos and the Movie Maker, because the other programs are kind of like obsolete now for anything. But there's Movie Maker. That's familiar for many of you. I used to run this program for years on PC laptops when I was editing on PC for quite a while. And I got really used to this, and I got used to being able to do a lot of different things with it. And yeah, it was great. And then, of course, I lost my entire universe when I went back to Apple and started to run iMovie. And I'm like, how do you do this? But now I've learned iMovie extremely well. I'm doing really good with that. And it's like, hey. But editing on PCs, the one thing I do find with editing, I even tried this program on my gamer system, and it still takes like a long time for it to import the video before you can even do anything with it. Then you got to do your stuff, and then you got to export it, and that takes forever, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I'm so used to an M1 processor now, and it's like, dump it, it's there. I start my editing like that quick. Boom, boom, do my export. I'm done in like 5 minutes, right? In and out in, I think I'm like 10 minutes total in and out for everything I do on most videos on my Mac. And that's exported. And then it takes me another anywhere between 7 minutes to 3 minutes to compress the video to get it ready for upload. Because why upload a huge file, you know, when YouTube's going to compress the snot out of it anyway? So I just compress ahead of time to shrink it just to save on bandwidth. And it still ends up being a couple hundred megabytes, sometimes even a gig, depending on the quality of the resolution. But, you know, I mean, I literally did a test one day between my M1 Mini and my gamer laptop, and I was already done my compression. Like, I did everything, including fully compressed, ready to upload. And the gamer laptop, which is so powerful apparently, with all that stuff under the hood, for all that money I spent, was only 3/4 of the way done the export through Movie Maker. So, that being said, this is no competitor to my gamer laptop. It's going to take you a while. But you can do video editing. The fan will kick in right away, and it's going to keep on running till it's done. Okay, so just be aware, if you want to do video editing on this thing, it's going to take a while. Okay, so I hope you have patience. But it can do it. That's the thing. Okay, if you want to save some time, keep your videos really super short. Okay, but 1080p and 720p, not an issue, but it does take quite a while. I couldn't believe how long it took just to import a clip when I tried it, and that would have been my D-Link DIR 615 video. I have the clip here on the desktop, and just the importing alone, I was like, man, I could like go make a cup of coffee, go for a cigarette, come back, and it might be ready to edit, maybe, you know. And it's like, that was pretty sad. But yeah, my gamer laptop's a little quicker, but you know, not a whole lot. This is why Mac has its purpose in life, and why they're better and faster than PCs when it comes to that sort of thing. But anyways, $150. The thing's a year old. The information on the warranty status on this thing is simply, it was activated December 8th of 2021. So the laptop is only a year old. Okay, maybe about, well, 14 months old now, because we're in February. Battery health, according to HP, their testing software that they include, says I'm at 100%. So the battery's in perfect condition. The whole laptop is impeccably, like not even a scratch or a ding or nothing anywhere. And I got it for $150. They wanted $179. And yet this thing's selling currently at HP for $600 Canadian, regular $759, and Canada Computers for $750. The question is on the brand new level, is that price reasonable? And I think it's pretty reasonable for the most part. I think maybe a little bit cheaper would be nicer, you know, but still, I mean, you're getting a lot. You're getting 8 gigs of RAM, 256, quad core, 11th generation. They can, you know, turbo it to 3.7 gigahertz per core. So yeah, I mean, it does have some juice power in it. I haven't done the Cinebench test yet with it, but I'm sure that'll go the way that it goes. We'll have to do a video on that for you guys, I guess, and see how it Cinebenches out, at least for the CPU side of the house, because that does tell us a lot. We know the GPU in this thing is going to be the weak link, because it is only 128 megabytes of dedicated with that 4 gigs of shared. So I don't think we're going to see a very good high GPU score on this thing, but it is high enough for performance in gaming. Besides, synthetic benchmarks are generally a joke anyways. A lot of that numbers is BS. It's real world that matters the most. So my real world is, if it can play Far Cry at high settings, then it's worthy to play a lot of different games. It would probably do it in the very high, but we may see some lag from either the mouse or somewhere in the game, period. Because we're just really pushing the GPU too hard at the highest level settings. I've played Far Cry on a Mac running Windows 10 at 5K resolution, and top level all graphics, and yeah, not even a fart or a twitch out of that computer, you know. And I've done the same thing. I've played at 2K resolution off my gamer system, only because I can do that by using an external screen, 32 inch, and I'm fine. It plays absolutely flawless at ultra high settings and at 2K. So yeah, but on this thing, yeah, we're doing absolutely perfect playing on just the straight out high settings, okay? And it doesn't default at high. It defaults at low, even though it says spec machine is high. Well, it says very high. Just manually click just the high button on the graphics, and yeah, it'll play fantastic on this thing, and so will many other games. So you can definitely play some games on this thing. You know, it's not that wussy, you know. But the video editing is going to be its weak link for a lot of time consumption. That's going to be a big thing. But surfing the internet, absolutely fabulous. You know, watching videos, watching Netflix on this thing would be fine. I don't watch Netflix on a small screen. I have a 65-inch TV for that. You know, doing what I need to do. And even with your camera, on this 720p camera, that's a really good picture. I mean, it's a little grainy that I can see, only because of lack of lighting in here, and all cameras are dependent on light for quality of reproduction, but still, even with this lighting, that's a pretty good picture. I could sit here and, you know, do a Zoom call or whatever, and it'd be perfectly fine for that. Even shooting some type of, you know, lower quality 720p video, just, you know, being a cheapskate about doing a video, I could do that on this thing. You know what I mean? It's just, it'll work really good. You know what I mean? The mic array is nice. It's decent mics in it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I mean, for $150 and with a fingerprint scanner on top of that, that's like, you know, next level security. You can sign into your bank and everything with your fingerprint on this thing. Sign into the computer with your fingerprint. I finally got that set up. Finally, I got the right little pattern. It's a very small square, so, you know, they tell you to rotate this way, and a little, you know, so you got to get it in the right spot, but it'll tell you. The only thing not supported by Windows 11 on this machine is face recognition ID. It just comes up and says, at this time, it's not supported. So it's kind of like, okay, well, at least it's not saying that it's absolutely not supported, just not at this time. So that may be something in a future update from Windows 11 that may be active finally. Who knows? We'll have to wait it out and see. But otherwise, yeah, for doing your daily stuff, even as an 8x256 configuration, the thing is going to do great. But if you're going to start pile driving a bunch of video games in here that will play on it, you might want to consider upgrading the SSD. And it is NVMe M.2, which means you're going to be able to get some pretty screaming fast drives to put in this thing. It can be done yourself. I've done it myself before with the same style laptop. I know exactly how this thing comes apart because it's the same damn chassis in that one that I won from MDG. So it's like, I already know what I have to do. And if I decide to upgrade anything in this thing myself, personally, I think the only thing I'm going to likely upgrade is going to be the RAM. I'll probably just double the RAM in it, and that'll be about it. I'm fine with the drive size. I've got plenty of space left over. And like I said, I'm not going to be playing games on this thing. I only installed Far Cry just to play it, try it out, see how well it does in the gaming environment, especially after I saw 128 megabytes of dedicated video. I was like, you never know, right? But 4 gigs of shared there at 3200 megahertz, that really saved it. So it does actually do really well for doing some basic gaming, okay? And probably anything you'll pull off the Microsoft Store is likely going to run fine on the thing to a certain point anyways. You know, but so be careful. Try and get demo programs for free to try them before you go and pay for them. Because this is no gamer laptop, but it can handle some games, okay? Anyways, but is it worth $600? Well, comparing to everything else that's out there in the same kind of price and what you're actually getting or not getting, I think it's worth 600 bucks. And that's from HP currently. I don't know when their sale ends, but they normally charge $759. Canada Computers charges $750. So shop at HP for it. It's probably going to be the best price you're going to find on it brand new right now. And I like HP laptops. I've never experienced any problems with HP products. We've had printers. We've had, my wife I think had an HP computer at one time. I know I've had 1 or 2 of them. Well, before even the one that I won. And I've never had problems with HP products. They've always been very reliable. Okay, maybe not the most power-hungry house machines, but you know, unless you want to buy an HP Omen, that's different. That's HP, once they got into gaming systems, they're starting to get a little bit more popular, right? But even for inexpensive machines that are under $1,000, HP definitely has some pretty nice machinery out there for under $1,000. So I say we're kind of looking in that ballpark idea of, you know, let's be realistic. I've done a lot of testing since yesterday. Fairly, I can say, yes, 600 is a really outstanding price in Canadian dollars for this thing. I think we're really kind of pushing things at 750, but then again, what else are we going to find brand new in 750 that's going to be comparable or better and have even the same feature of having a fingerprint ID thing? Because people want fingerprint ID nowadays, and Macs all have it now, right? Except for, of course, the Mini. I think we can get it on the Mini if we get the keyboard that has the fingerprint ID. But I know it does do it with the laptops and, of course, the iMac. So, yeah, we could probably get the keyboard, do it on the Mini as well. But either way, people want that because it's better security. It's like touch it, your fingerprint logs you in, your fingerprint gets you into your bank accounts, etc. Your fingerprint's unique. Nobody can pirate your fingerprint unless they come into your house and steal it off your pad. You know what I mean? So it does have that benefit of that. So you'd have to look at comparable features that way. But still, even for what this is. Now, keep in mind there's also 4 different models of this machine in different processors, etc. So, again, HP has done that. There's at least 4 or 5 or 6 models of the same damn chassis, same screen size, but with some different hardware under the hood. So, you know, this one is specific. Search the model HP 14-DQ2030CA. If this is the one you want, okay? And if you don't, well, you don't. Go find something else. But I really like this thing. I'm keeping it. It's a keeper in my books. I'm sure I will have this thing for many years of usage. I would even go as far as that if I can still get a battery for it when the battery ever does die someday, I would still keep this laptop, I think, for everything that I need for it. And as long as it can still run Windows operating system on the internet, I will keep it for that length of time. Once it can no longer run any version of Windows, then I'll ditch it and I'll get another Windows laptop, you know, that I can do the same thing on my Lazy Boy with. You know, and I run Mac in here too, so hey, I'm no snob, you know. And my gamer system is PC, not Mac, because right now the new Apple Silicon machines really suck for gaming. Not just because of the access of games, but also they just don't perform as well as gamer machines do anymore. So yeah, Apple has a bit of work to do there. But anyways, if you can find one of these in perfect condition too at a pawn shop for a couple of $100, even a reasonable price at a pawn shop, even though I got a sick deal, okay, you're likely not going to get that sick of a deal. But I would say even $350 used, if it's in perfect condition, right, for the exact same model and same kind of age, you know, being a year old, year plus, 14 months old, I think $350 is not out of the question. I would have paid it if that's what he wanted for it, because I was willing to spend up to $500 on a brand spanking new one, and I basically got that for $150. So, you know, not complaining whatsoever, but I would definitely say that $350 for this exact laptop, same configuration, same spec for spec. I think $350 at a pawn shop, you'd be doing good, or even a used one that's in absolutely perfect condition. But when they start getting flaws and problems, well, that's when the price goes down severely, kids. Yeah, anyways, that's what I got for you on that one. So what about star rating before we're out of here? I have no issue putting this at 4.5. No issue at 4.5 out of 5. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you have experience with this one. Personally, let me know what you think about it, what you use it for too, and how you've been finding it. You know the drill. So otherwise, I'm out of here. See ya.